July the 28th, 2023. Good morning, everyone. It's 6:23 a.m. here in Mississippi this morning. Yesterday was another hot day. I think it's going to be a pretty warm weekend. We're almost out of July, and we haven't had a significant storm at all in the Atlantic, and we talked about the overheating waters. But now, here, just off the center of your screen to the left, is the system that they were watching yesterday at a 40% chance of development. Now it has a 50% chance, and it's starting to get more rain wrap and actually a larger area that's involved in this. It could turn out to be a large storm. You also have a couple systems that are coming off of Africa at this point. Now, taking a look at the hurricane map out of the National Hurricane Center in Miami, we can see that if we click over this, you've got a 50% chance of development now. And it's still got that curve up towards the northeast. Now, anywhere in this area would be beneficial without a direct impact as far as cooling the temperature of the oceans. And I think that's important with the temperatures that we're seeing, because if you don't cool this water down some, the entire planet's going to raise its temperature just enough to keep these heat waves on us. It's going to get worse year after year if we continue to see this trend. But they're saying that we've got a 50% chance again of development. Shower activity has increased since yesterday in association with a tropical wave located about midway between the Cabo Verde Islands and the Lesser Antilles. Environmental conditions are expected to be favorable for gradual development of the system in a few days. Tropical depression could form early next week, while the system moves generally west-northwestward over the tropical Atlantic. Now, switching satellites, this gives us more of the entire North Atlantic. You can see the storm to your right there. In the Caribbean, we are looking at the remnants of one of the storms that we tracked off the coast of Africa. And north of there, Florida, you're still seeing some of the remnants of that second storm. Maybe that's bringing some cooling rain because of this high-pressure system that we've all been dealing with in the southeast, and now it's moving north. But that's one of the things that every day in this heat, when you start getting above that 100 degrees, you kind of start looking for some clouds, right, for shade and some rain that will just cool everything down. Now, let's look at this morning's National Weather Service map. You can see the heat still in the central part of the country, guys. The heat advisories are in the orange, and the red in the center of that is excessive heat warnings, and they're still up into the northeast. So you guys, again, take the same precautions you did yesterday, and let us know in the comments if anyone lost power. In the video yesterday, we put up that warning from your power company there, and they were saying you were going to be just below their maximum peak energy, with everyone trying to cut their air on and stay cool. In switching this to infrared, you can see where your moisture is. Here, there's not a lot. You can see in Mississippi there in the center of the northern Gulf. But in the Midwest, especially over Lake Michigan, we're starting to see some storms build up, and maybe that will bring some cool air and moisture to the northeast, because this is right in that heat dome. And to be honest with you, your storms can get rough in that heat. You can have lightning and things, but anything to cool it down once you start getting in, again, above the 100 into the 110s. And when you see that red in the middle of that orange, you're talking about 115 degrees heat index. So, and that's miserable. But again, make sure you've got your pets taken care of. Now look over into Baja California in the far left of the screen. You've got a system moving up into the Gulf of California, guys, and that's going to bring not only into Mexico some moisture, but notice southern Arizona and southern California could get some of this moisture relief. That would be a good thing. Now, these are sea surface temperatures. This is a measurement from 2 days ago. We don't have the update on it. But this is Africa, and the storm came off the coast here in this orange area, and it's going to track this warmer water up into the east side of the U.S. We don't know if it's going to make landfall or not. As this thing gets into a little more development, we'll start getting some spaghetti models from the Fox Hurricane Center down in Florida itself. But it's easy to see this warm water trail right through here. Check that out. And what's going to determine the steering of it is where the high pressure systems are in the Atlantic. Now, this is today's setup in the Atlantic. The orange area in the very center is high pressure, and that is the steering factor. These storms like to stay south of this orange line around the yellow line here, but this is going to fluctuate over the next few days. It's going to change, and we know that the tracking of the storm changes as we go forward in time. But this high pressure system, again, setup is the steering factor. If it starts to ease up, the storm will turn further north and miss land altogether as far as the northeastern U.S. It could come close enough to bring some of the cooling relief that we need from these storms. But guys, we're watching this. There's a lot going on. Check out the updates, guys, on warnews247.gr. Things are escalating very rapidly, and it does not look good for the West. What's happening. I don't want to go into detail, but check that out, guys. You're going to be surprised at what Russia has done. We're watching it. You watch it. It's a heads up. Be safe.